So, Mr. Chris Lewis, thank you for agreeing to come do this podcast. I know you're a busy man.
No problem.
So, Coney Island Connection, 4.5 years. Congratulations, by the way. I saw that you're adding on to the business.
That's correct.
So, have you already opened that site? Because it hasn't been very long since you did the addition, right?
That's correct. We hadn't opened it yet. We have about maybe I'm looking at probably another week, 2 weeks before it opened.
Okay.
Waiting on the city to come in and do their final approval, and we're ready to rock and roll.
So, Coney Island Connection. So I know that we have a lot of Coney Islands around. It's been a staple here, and I think across the U.S. Is that an actual chain?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's not.
So talk to me about how you decided to get into the restaurant business.
Well, just go back to the beginning. I've been working in the restaurant business since I was 11 years old. My mother, she worked for a restaurant maybe 20 years ago by the name of Zips, which was at the foot of the Ingham Bridge.
Yeah, I remember.
She left Zips, and I was working at Zips with her. She left Zips and went to working for Gravy's Cooking Country, which was right across the street from Bowley Elementary.
Okay.
Working for Mr. Hopper. And I was working with them then, just a little kid, and Mr. Hopper and them let me work, and, kind of got introduced to it that way. Fell out the restaurant business, and at the age of 18, I started my own 18-wheeler company. And
Okay.
I had that 18-wheeler company for 3 years, and Mr. Scott Sander that owned Coney Island, he got married, and he decided to move to Atlanta. Well, he offered first dibs to my mother, and my mother said, no way.
Too much.
And she called me, and I said, are you serious? And she said, yes, come talk to him. And I went and talked to Mr. Scott Sanders, and it's the rest is history. And it's been a blessing since that day.
Well, I know that the parking lot is always full, so
Yes,
I mean it's
that's a
never
blessing.
empty. So tell me about this trucking company that you started. Were you like over the road? Was it a local route that you were running?
Well, what I did was I actually started over the road, and it became a little stressful. It became a little stressful. It became a little lonely. Called my mother one day, and she told me, look, come off the road. Came off the road and got to hauling wood chips for the paper mill.
Right.
I had one truck and was doing great. Purchased another truck and was doing great, and purchased another truck. And I had three 18-wheelers. We was hauling wood chips from Jonesboro back up to Monroe, and from Monroe to Drax and places of that area. And once I got in the restaurant business, it became very lucrative, and I gave the trucking business up to be able to
Right.
work beside my mother each and every day, which is what I love doing. And since I've been a child, I love interacting with people. And I believe that's the best part of my job. Each and every day, I get to meet a new person.
Right,
And I
right.
love it.
So, Chris, you came on my radar here, several months back. The city of West Monroe was putting together a search committee for the police chief. And during that search committee, you were named along with a lot of other prominent people, community leaders in our town. And shortly thereafter, I would say, would it be safe to say a little controversy got kind of
That's correct.
kicked up about Mayor Mitchell putting you on because you have a past.
Correct.
Now, I know all of us have a past that's there, and, yours just so happened to be a little more public than others. And I could probably, it'd be safe to say if others were more public instead of private, they'd be in the same boat as you.
Correct.
So take me back, before we get into that, take me back to your childhood. So were you born and raised in this area?
I was born and raised right here in West Monroe, Louisiana, and I love it.
Awesome.
I love it.
So you went to school where?
I went to school at Rise Elementary, Rise Junior High, and I left there and went to West Monroe High School.
Okay. Did you play football or do any
No,
sports?
I didn't play any football. I was too busy riding horses.
right.
Horses and things of that nature. I had brothers and sisters who was into the sports. I wasn't into the sports.
So grew up riding horses.
Yes, sir.
So where'd you keep horses at in West Monroe?
Right over by the paper mill.
Okay.
It was an area about what they call College Point.
Yeah.
And over in that area, a lot of friends of mine, we had maybe over 10, 15 horses.
Wow.
Yeah.
So going through your teenage years, talk to me a little bit about that. Raised a lot of brothers and sisters, tight-knit family.
Yeah, it's actually six of us, and my dad worked for the paper mill. My mom worked for which was fast food restaurants, and she worked for the Washita Parish School Board. My teenage years was great. It was great. I enjoyed it riding horses. I enjoyed it working, and I was majority hanging around older people. It's why a lot of my friends say I got an old soul. I act like I'm old.
Right.
Because I was hanging around, older people who would actually put me to work because I loved work. And as I got a little older, around the age of 18, 19, that's when I made a mistake. And it caused me to have a pass.
So let's talk about that mistake, because I know our teenage years, for many of us, it's a time where we can kind of get to know who we are as a person. I can tell you from my teenage years, there's probably things that I did that could have had a major impact in my life negatively had I got caught doing some of the things I were doing. I think a lot of people are in that boat whether they want to admit it or not. But it was also that time in my life, I was raised in the church. I
Me as
don't know
well.
if you are, but you hit those years to where you think you know better sometimes. And my parents did really good by me by keeping me in that church. And when I got to a point to where I was driving and they wanted to kind of give me a little free rein, somewhat. So I had rules at home to follow. Dad made sure of that. But I stopped going. I kind of checked out and thought I knew better and started heading down a path that probably wasn't productive for me at that time. And I think many kids fall in that category. Can you relate to any of that as well?
Well, I can't necessarily relate to that. What I can say is this about my past. I don't remember the exact age, but it was between 18, 19, somewhere up in there. I started hanging with the wrong people.
Yeah.
And I firmly believe that when you hang with the wrong people, it will cause you to do things, say things that you normally wouldn't do.
Yeah,
And that's why I caught myself hanging with people that I shouldn't have been hanging with, hanging around drugs. And, of course, like I say, hanging around drugs, I thought it was cool, and I thought it was fun. And I tried it. And when I say tried, I mean I tried selling drugs. And when I tried selling drugs, I saw where it brought me more money than I've ever seen.
Right.
And that's what caused me to get into the trouble I got in. Got into the trouble, and I had friends that was law enforcement, friends that were public officials who knew that that wasn't me. They knew that I was with the wrong people at the wrong time, and they reached out to help me, and they helped me, and they helped me get into a program, which was a program called Drug Court. Okay. And while I was in that program, I was under Judge Sherry Marchman, who was and still is a wonderful lady.
I agree with that, by the way.
I thank her for being firm and fair. Going through that program, it taught me that the only way to do things in life is right. It's just that simple. And if you don't do things in life right, you're going to eventually do them wrong. Yeah. And when you do things wrong, there are going to be consequences.
Absolutely.
And again, I went through that program, and I did not successfully complete that program. And by me not successfully completing that program, I had to go to jail. And I went to a program down in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, what was called the Impact Program. And to this day.
Now, was that voluntary for you to go to that program?
No, it was not. It was not voluntary. I was ordered to go by Judge Sherry Marchman. And to this day, I can't thank her, the people in that program, enough. It changed my life, literally. I have a total of 5 kids. And right now, my kids have a better father because of Judge Sherry Marchman. Right now, my kids have a better father because of the Impact Program. Right now, my kids are able to see how a man should raise their family. And going through that program, it taught me that. And I thank God each and every day for my past. A lot of people are afraid to tell their past. A lot of people are ashamed. But I'm not ashamed to tell what God let me go through and brought me out of. I say all the time that I thank God that he allowed me to take those stairs and not the elevator. Because had I took the elevator, I would have skipped certain things. By taking those stairs, there were times I wanted to give up. There were times I got tired, times I got frustrated, but I had to keep going and keep going. And when I kept going and kept going, it taught me how to be a man. It taught me how to be a better person, and et cetera. And it's one of the reasons why I am who I am today. A lot of people ask me, why do you give back so much to the community? And I learned during that process that if you can help someone and it's not going to hurt you at all, then why not?
Why not? And I'll have to say, you brought it up. I was planning on bringing it up, and I want people to know that told you before we got started, there's just not a lot of research out there for you that I could find. But the thing that kept coming up over and over is your willingness to give back to the community.
And I'm gonna as long as I have breath in my body, I'm gonna continue to give back to the community.
Yeah.
Because it's impossible for me to help everyone, but everyone can help someone.
Yeah, no,
And if everyone would help someone, we better together.
and I'm not saying that, because I'm a small business owner myself, just like you. The thing that I appreciate, and I'm not saying you can't do things that are in promotion of your business. We have to. We're business people. It's how we support our family. But your giving back is not, hey, look at me, look at my business, what it's
And
doing.
it would never be.
I'm just letting you know from me as someone in the community that I appreciate and I admire the efforts that you put into it. You don't make it about you; you make it about the people you're trying to help. So I appreciate that out of you.
And again, I never will. I'm gonna say something that I've never told nobody.
Okay.
Each and every day at my restaurant for the past 4.5 years, each and every day, I give someone a free meal. And the way I pick is when they come in, I let the spirit lead me. I've never posted on Facebook. I've never told nobody. My mom, who worked beside me each and every day, she don't even know it. And I do that because, again, if I can help someone and it's not gonna hurt me in no kind of shape, form, or fashion, then why not? And you may say, well, Chris, why are you telling this to me now? I'm telling you because I hope someone will see this and say, you know what? If he can do that, then I can do that. Just one small meal, and by me blessing that person, I hope it gives that person maybe the incentive or the energy to go on and bless someone else.
But you also don't know what's going on in that person's life by just that one simple act of kindness.
Correct.
Of what's going on. We as a society, most of us at least, do a really good job of keeping our junk buried away. And we put on that straight face and we walk out in the public like there's nothing wrong with us. And I don't care what kind of background you have, everybody's got junk in their life they're dealing with. Thank you for just being able to recognize that within people and just the touch that you can have to impact someone's day by one simple act of kindness.
Oh, yeah.
It ain't taking a lot out of your pocket to do it,
No.
but it's just being obedient to be able to step out and to do this. I want to back up to the program that you got sent to. Tell me a little bit more about that program and why that program had such an impact, and what was it about that program that impacted you?
Well, that program it's a boot camp, and it's ran like a military boot camp. Attention to detail, structure, obedience, and things of that nature. And that program, it taught me a lot because I had no idea what attention to detail was. I had no idea what when you move with a purpose, and things of that nature. And there was guys there that, not saying that my father wouldn't, because he was a great father, but the drill instructors there, they just taught me a lot of things that my father wasn't able to teach me because he was working, providing for us, and it opened my eyes and made me realize that, wow, that life is more than just fun and games. Those drill instructors was very firm, they was very fair. During the program, you were allowed to take up a course. They had courses such as welding, plumbing, and things of that nature. I was able to take up one of those courses, and it also taught me how to respect one another, because there was over 100 of us in that program, and you had to work with each other. There was no way that you can be in the program and complete the program successfully without working with one another.
Right.
And I'm not talking about just like when you at work today, just working on a machine side by side. I'm talking about actually working together, working on projects. Your minds working together, trying to accomplish this and accomplish that. And again, that program, it's probably over 50% of the reason why I am who I am today. It's why I'm as humble as I am today, loving and caring, and things of that nature. But it was a 6-month program, and it was wonderful.
How long were you locked up for?
from 2009, from November of 2009 to February 4th of 2011, and it was my first time ever getting in trouble. But I thank God that I didn't get just a pop on the wrist.
Right. It's probably what you wanted at that time.
That's exactly what I wanted. But God allowed me to go through that for a reason. I get happy talking about it. It's just
it's just like we're at home. We're trying to teach our kids that they don't quite understand why we say you need to keep your room clean, or why we say you need to do what we say when we say it.
Correct.
They have to understand that there's consequences to life, and the game gets really real when you step outside of the lines as an adult. Those consequences get a lot greater. This podcast is possible because of your support of our real estate business. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, I'm confident we have the tools and the processes to help you reach your real estate goal. For more information or to reach out to us, check out the podcast description for our contact info. If we were sitting around a table, talking to our youth in our town right now, we know that a lot of the crime that we have in our town is going to be in that youth. I would say probably from 16 to 24 is where most of the crime happens, or the majority of it, not all of it. And I feel a sense in that age range in our community, a sense of hopelessness. What would you say to a group of kids sitting around a table that have made some bad choices, and they're running in the crowd, and they think the crowd is the life, and that's how they should live their life? What would you say to those kids today?
Well, the first thing I would say to those kids is, if they have a past, I would say, look, you can come back from anything in life but death. Anything in life you can come back from but death. That's number one. Number two, I would let them know that I'm standing here talking to you. I could be anywhere else, but I chose to be here. And the reason I chose to be here is because I care. Those kids need to understand that somebody actually care about them. And thirdly, I would let them know that, look, if you go and look at statistics, you go and look at film, whatever you go and look at, that lifestyle is only going to cause two things, and that's either death or in prison. And I would let them know, I'm sure neither one of you want that. Yeah. And that's what I would let them know, those three things.
So I think, your story has impact because you're outside of the statistics. It is not, your story is not the normal story that we hear from a kid that was raised like you were raised in a sound like a great home.
Great home. My mom and dad have been married 34 years. They still together today.
And you decided to surround yourself with people that were not a great influence.
Correct.
And you got in trouble. You entered the system. Most of the time, the system is not there to help you. It's just there to process you. Then you get tossed right back out and you go back to those same friends. How do we break that cycle here?
I believe we break that cycle by, once we are incarcerated, I believe once we're released, I believe there should be mechanisms, and I believe there should be programs in place for individuals that are released from prison. For example, when I was released, I was placed on parole, and I had a parole officer who checked on me regularly to make sure that I was doing the things that I was doing. Now, once I was let off parole, I went to businesses in this surrounding area. Yeah. For example, Sam's, Brookshire, Super One, those places, the graphic packaging, those places will hire ex-offenders. Yeah. And I think the best thing for us to do is publish it and let the offenders know that there are actually jobs out here who do not turn the cheek to ex-offenders.
So I agree with you 100%. So I am pro prison reform. I am totally against what we've always done because we've seen it's not producing any results. I'm not saying that I want to be light on crime. It's not it. I believe that I believe in redemption, number one.
Correct.
If I was not redeemed, it doesn't matter what I do with the rest of my life. It's pointless at that point. And for us, even as believers, not to be able to take the approach of trying to figure out a way how we can redeem somebody that has come out, that has said, if you're willing to give me a chance, I'm willing to take that chance on you. So as part of prison reform, I think there ought to be a mechanism to where the label that's associated with a felon at some point can be set aside. If that person has done what needs to be done to make that happen. Because I don't think it's right. I think there's a lot of good people that are very employable that would go to work and do great for people. But society has said, we can't do that.
And that's one thing. We as human beings, we have to understand that just because a person make a mistake, just because a person went to jail or incarcerated, that does not make them a bad person.
Agreed, 100%.
I mean, ask yourself, some of us, well, probably 80% of us, sin each and every day. We make mistakes each and every day. How would we feel if God was to treat us the way that we treat individuals who have made a mistake, or the way we treat individuals who are felons? They still are human beings. We are all still brothers and sisters in Christ. But I believe society get caught up in social media and the news and things of that nature, and they let one bad apple, spoil the entire bunch.
Sure.
And I truly believe that I'm doing the work to let people know that that's not true.
I mean, I couldn't have said it better. I guess another way you could have described it is if that sin that I have, if I had to wear it on my shirt, listed out for everybody to see, how would I be viewed in my town? So what's the answer for that? I know that prison reform, that's a big thing that's not going to get fixed overnight. I know that trying to change the workforce to look at people that have a past is not going to get changed overnight. But one of the things I feel like we can start making a change, and I'm not saying we shouldn't work on those things, and it chipping away little by little, any progress forward is great. But I feel the biggest change that we can make in our community is to be able to give hope to the hopeless. To be able to let our youth know that whether you feel loved and appreciated where you're at right now or not, there's people that love and can appreciate you. You don't have to be a byproduct of where you're at today.
Correct.
And if for those who have made a mistake, you can change. Now, you tell me, if you would not have come out with a better attitude than where you went in, do you think you'd be sitting where you're at today?
No. And I tell people all the time, if I was sitting where I was, if I was in this situation, and hadn't went through what I went through, I honestly believe, and I tell people this all the time, I honestly believe that I would be arrogant. I would think that, oh, I'm famous.
You did it.
Oh, I did it. Oh, I own a restaurant. Oh, I own 18 wheelers. I wouldn't be giving nothing back. Right. Oh, I got to keep that money for my kids. Oh, this, I'm that. But God allowed me to go through that for a reason. And I believe that, how dare you try and cover up or hide or not let people know what God allowed you to go through and make it out of, and it made you a better person. I am not ashamed whatsoever. Yeah. When that happened to me in the newspaper, you would not believe the amount of calls that I got on my cell phone.
I can imagine.
Inboxes and phone calls at the restaurant. Chris, we love you. We sticking with you. Stay strong. We know who you are. I was not worried about that, Because at the end of the day, I knew one thing. I've proven myself. I've proven myself. I've proven myself to be a good person, a good father. I've proven myself to let the citizens know in my community that the things that I'm doing, I'm not doing it for show. I'm doing it because that's who I am. I'm doing it out of the kindness of my heart. And I will continue to do it as long as I got breath in my body. I don't care if you're black. I don't care if you're white, Mexican, Asian. I don't care. We all are human beings and brothers and sisters in Christ. And that's my opinion. And again, I'm going to continue to do the work that God allowed me to do.
When you were released and you came home to your family, and your family may have been down visiting a lot with you during that time frame and seen a transformation while it was happening. But your friends, when you got out and you got back home.
Let me say this here. My mother never came saw me. She said, it's impossible for me to see you like that. But she was working 3 jobs to make sure that I had money. My father, he said, I can't come see you and I can't write you because you knew better. My mom, while I was incarcerated, I called her and I said, hey, would you go pick up the money from a couple of my friends? She said, okay. I called back in 3-4 days. I said, did you go get the money? She said, none of them answered the phone. And I said, okay. But while I was going through that, it showed me that the only people that was in my corner was my mother and my father and my immediate family. When I went through that process, again, I thank God I went through it because that's who I found. And I'm going to tell you how I found them because each and every day I was reaching out to my family, to certain family members and certain friends asking for help, and I didn't receive it. And the Spirit led me and said that, if you stop putting all your trust in man and just start believing in God and calling on God, things will change. And I can honestly say when I start doing that, things start changing. Now, they didn't change like this.
Sure.
They didn't change overnight, and they darn sure didn't change when I wanted them to change.
Right.
They changed right when God wanted them to change. And that process, it was hard. It was hard. I was very scared. I was young. I come from a great family, and it was my first time being in trouble. I've never been to prison. I'm incarcerated with guys who 3 or 4 times bigger than me.
Right.
I was incarcerated with guys who had 60, 70, 80, 90 years. I never forget one time I was at church and I was incarcerated at Elaine Hunt's Correction Center. And I was standing and I was telling the guy, man, I'm excited. I got 7 more days left. And he looked at me and he said, guess what? I said, what? He said, I have 70 years left. And I was just like, wow. And it taught me a lot. It just showed me how blessed I was despite of me going through that. And I thank God that I went through it at an early age.
Yeah.
Because from this point on, the sky's the limit.
Sure.
And
Absolutely.
it's wonderful.
How long did it take you to realize that Judge Marchman actually helped you instead of punished you?
A very long time. I'm 34 years old, and I was released in 2011 of February. I was on parole for, I believe it was like 1 year, and I was released off that in September of 2012. So it took 2012, 34, 50. I would say it took about 5 years after I was released off parole to realize that, you know what? The whole entire time, not only was this lady doing her job, but she really cared. She could have easily just, and guess what I would have did? I would have went right back out there and thought I was slick. Oh, all I got to do is stand in front of the judge and start crying. She going to let me off. But it took me almost 5 years to realize that once again, not only was she doing her job, but she cared. And I thank God that she cared because, again, it made me a better person.
Right.
It made me a better father, most important, and it made me a better child.
What do you say? What do you say to your kids when they start making mistakes? You know, kids, nobody's perfect. No one's here, and their kids are. I don't know what age your kids are, but you know, we're as parents trying to set those boundaries. Try to keep them between the ditches. What do you say to your kids about the consequence that life had to offer?
Today is Wednesday. Each and every Tuesday, I set Tuesday evenings to the side, and that's when I go and eat with my family, my fiancé and my 2 boys. Just last night, we was at Dax, and I was sitting down at the table talking to my boys, and I told them, I said, sons, I said, y'all may not understand what Dad is telling y'all and teaching y'all right now. I said, but I promise you, as y'all get older, y'all will realize why Dad is saying at 9 o'clock you have to be asleep. Y'all will realize why in our household there's 2 things that do not allow you to get a pass, which is lying and being disrespectful. Y'all will realize why Dad started y'all to pray in each and every night. And I can go on and on and on. Again, as they get older, they'll realize it. And like I say, those are things that never crossed my mind hadn't I went to boot camp or been in that program. You know, God took, in my opinion, God took what the devil meant for bad.
Yeah.
And he turned that thing all the way around.
Because now you have a story that not a let's listen and look at Chris Lewis, but now you have something very practical that you can help share with our youth. I mean, we all have decisions every day, and it doesn't matter if it's decisions on should I do this on the street or not, but it's also decisions, should I do this in the workplace?
Right.
Should I handle my business this way? And that, you know, just because you think that this is something cool that everybody else is doing it, it's going to have consequences.
It's most definitely going to have consequences. And like I tell the kids all the time, I can assure you, as you get older in life, if you're out there in the streets trying to gangbang and thug, rob, steal, kill, sell drugs, as you get older in life, you're going to realize that those things get you nowhere.
Nowhere.
There's no possible way that, I tell my kids this here, I said there's no way that you can put the wrong gas in a vehicle and it run right.
Right.
There's no way you can put the wrong size shoe on and walk right. There's no way that you can put the wrong ingredients in food and it tastes right.
Right.
I said, son, the moral of the story is what I'm telling you is there's no way you can do wrong and expect right.
Correct.
It's
It may look good in the moment, may feel good in the moment, but in the end, it's trouble waiting there. It's going to spoil.
I made a Facebook post about 2 weeks ago, and I said that when you have the wrong intentions, there's no way it or you will ever prosper. And I tell them all the time, it may look good in the first quarter. It may look good in the second quarter. You may go into halftime up by 29 like Deion Sanders.
Yep.
But in the end, when it's the fourth quarter and 0-0 on the time clock, I can assure you, if you have the wrong intentions in your heart, it or you will never prosper.
That's it. The other thing I would like for a takeaway to come out of this, and it's what really inspired me to want to have you in today, is that you didn't come out of this being a victim. You didn't have that victim mindset. You had that mindset, oh my word, I got the whole life in front of me here if I choose to accept it. Nobody says it's going to be easy. Nobody says it's going to be handed to you on a silver platter. But if you're willing to work for it, you'd be amazed what people are going to do to come alongside of you to help you if they see that you're willing to put the effort in to make something happen.
And that is absolutely correct. I was told 2 things 4.5 years ago before I started this business. A lot of people, I'm not going to say all people, but a lot of people told me 2 things. They say, you're too young to try to own a restaurant. And they say, you black. You're not going to make it in West Monroe on the corner of North Side Arkansas Road. Had I listened to them, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. I would not be able to impact and bless and help people like I do today. And the reason I'm saying that is this here. No matter what man tell you, no matter what the streets tell you, no matter you're not going to make it this, and that, if you put God first and give it 100%, no matter if your business is mowing yards, a flower bed, roofing, singing, it doesn't matter. If you put God first and give it 100%, I guarantee you will succeed. Now I can assure you there's gonna be some days where you want to give up. But I can assure you that if you put God first and give it 100%, you will succeed in anything you do in life.
So what's next for you? So, I mean, you mentioned that you were young. I wasn't going to bring your age up. I mean, tomorrow's never promised to us. So let me just put that out there. But you've got a business. You're already expanding 4.5 years into it. You probably started the business at the time where you shouldn't have started a business, because right when COVID happened,
That's correct.
I mean, you're going to get smacked around like most small businesses, especially in the restaurant business. What's next
correct.
for you?
That's correct. Well, I'm gonna go back to the COVID part. Let me say this here.
Sure.
When COVID hit, I don't know if you remember the rules and regulations,
Oh, yeah.
but you can only sit a percentage of people in your restaurant based off the size. I was only allowed to sit 6 people.
Wow.
I saw a lot of businesses go out of business in West Monroe, a lot of restaurants, but mine didn't. And a lot of people asked me, Chris, how did you do it? And I understand this may sound way left field, but by putting God first and giving it 100%. There was days where I was running back and forth to the parking lot, serving 8, 9, 10, 20, 40, 50 cars, and running back in, fixing orders, me and the workers, because we was only allowed to sit about 6 people in there.
Right.
I did not give up. I kept pressing forward. And now look at me. To answer your other question where you said, what's next now?
What's next?
I'm going to tell you what's next, and it's nothing but a blessing. I was just approved about 3 weeks ago through Century Federal Credit Union to build my first group home.
Really?
Yes, and what that is it's funded through Medicaid and Medicare, and I'm able to house either boys or girls, but it can be up to 10 kids in a house, 2 per room. I've purchased the land. Century just approved me. So now,
This is exciting. So give me some details on this.
now by me going through what I went through, now I'm able to inspire possibly 10 young men or 10 women, and I'm able to teach them real life situations. Again, it's funded through the state. It's where you can have up to 10 kids in a house, 2 per room. Of course, they have to be monitored 24 hours, 7 days a week. You have to have a nurse on payroll, counselor, psychiatric doctor, and things of that nature, where they go see the doctor once a month. The nurse may come by once a week just to check their physical well-being.
Sure.
The
What age range are we talking about?
you looking at all the way from birth up until 21. But I'm going to try my best to stick with maybe between the ages of 10 and 14, 15, because I believe in those that area. It's kind of, you can kind of mold them into being
a little easier to mold.
Correct. But I'm very excited. I have a lot of my friends ask me, they say, Chris, why would you go from making 85% cash every day, versus over here to a group home where everything has to go through
Government.
Government? And I say, look, do you know that I'm about to be able to change possibly 10 kids' life? Still to this day, it was, however many years ago, was Major Brown when I was in boot camp. I never forget his name. And the reason I never forget his name because he made such an impact in my life. For the rest of my life, I will never forget his name nor what he taught me. And now guess what? The same way I remember Major Brown and things he taught me, I'm able to teach some kids. And as they get older in life, it's possible that they'll never forget Chris Lewis or the things that Chris Lewis taught me. And this is nothing but a blessing. Again, everything I went through, in and out of jail, drug court, incarcerated in the second biggest penitentiary in the state of Louisiana. The second biggest penitentiary in the state of Louisiana. All that to come out and look at me now. And I just want to show other people that your past is your past.
Yeah.
It's your past. It's a reason why the rearview mirror is smaller than the windshield. It's the past. It's behind you.
Yeah, and if you keep looking at rearview mirror, you're going to crash, aren't you?
You're going to crash because you're going to be distracted.
That's right. I mean, you can't see where you're going at that
Correct.
point.
Correct.
It'll blind you.
Correct.
So what kind of timeline are we looking at on this project?
My good friend, my loan officer at Century Federal Credit Union, Patrick Mays, when I spoke with him about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I'm looking at maybe another month before all the paperwork and everything is together. I've already got the blueprints. I already went to a construction company, got the quotes and the bids, surveyed the land and things of that nature. So I'm looking at maybe another month or so before we sign the papers. And I'm going to contract it out myself, and I believe we're looking at about 4 to 6 months on building it, and hopefully.
So by the end of 24, you feel like you'll be up and running?
I feel like I'll be up and running.
Do we have a name for the facility yet, or are you just going to hold off a little bit before you announce that?
Yeah, I'm going to hold off on it, but I'm definitely leaning towards my great-grandmother's name, who played a major, major, major role in my life. So I'm definitely leaning towards it.
Is she still living?
No, she passed away.
How long ago?
She passed away about 12 years ago.
So she didn't get to see this journey that you went
she
on.
didn't.
But
And,
what would she think right now if she was still here?
me and my mom worked with me in my restaurant. My 2 aunties worked there, and we laugh and joke because it's their mom, and I'm sorry, it's their grandmother, and we laugh sometimes and say, my God, if Grandma Willie Mae was here, she would tell everybody that's my grandbaby, and she rode the transit bus in West Monroe, and we always laugh because we said she had a heart of gold. She would get her check on the first of the month, and she would literally loan it out to people who need help. And we would say, Grandma, you got to make it first. And we joke sometimes and say she would say, go down there to Coney Island Connection and tell my grandson that I said give you food free, because that's just the type of person she was. But she would be so proud of me, and I truly believe that it's just what the Bible say, to be absent from the body, to be present with the Lord. I believe that her spirit is with me, and I believe she's very proud of me, and I believe she's looking down on me.
You know, the Christmas parade, I saw you in the Christmas parade there with one of my daughters were riding in the parade, and my wife and I were with my youngest, and seen you drive past with the mayor.
Yes, my good
Monroe.
friend.
When you came out of that program and entered back into society, if someone at that point would have told you that one day you're going to be standing side by side with the mayor of the city of Monroe, what would you have said? Doing that, did you ever think that was something that was possible during that time?
Honestly, no way. I would have said, I'm not into all that. I'm just worried about making money right now. I'm just worried about just.
And I'm not trying to elevate you up here,
no.
But from a standpoint of average citizen, and I think you've kind of exceeded average citizen, because you've got to see this extreme, and now you're living this. I just made me smile when you drove by, thinking, and I'm not trying to downplay anything, but I wonder if he ever thought, going through what he went through, if he would be here today doing what he's doing today.
I can honestly look you dead in your eyes and tell you I had no.
But that's the whole reason that people need to hear your story, is that I think people, I know we all have a past, and I don't care how old you are or how young you are, or you don't think you have an advantage, or you're being disadvantaged in an area. We are responsible for tomorrow.
That's correct.
We are responsible
That's
for
correct.
tomorrow. And if you want to sit back and blame other people for where you're at today, then you will never get further tomorrow, because we have to take charge of our life. And I know for some people it's easier than others, but you didn't have a silver spoon in your mouth. You come from a working class family, and when you got out, nobody was sitting back waiting to hand you a pile of cash and say, here's some money, you go start something and be good.
No.
You had to make that decision to make it happen.
I did.
And you've done well for yourself.
And I thank you.
I'm really pleased to hear that you're bringing what you've learned from your past
Correct.
full circle as a benefit to our youth here locally. So,
and it touched my heart to know that the same way Judge Sharon Marchman, the same way Major Brown made a tremendous impact on my life, which will be with me forever, the same way that I can make an impact on these young kids' life who are put in the system, who are neglected, misused, and abused, who just need somebody to hug them and say, you know what, it's going to be okay. For somebody to be firm but fair with them.
yeah.
I mean, it's a blessing. It's a true blessing. And I wish you can just see on the inside, my heart lights up when I'm able to look back over my past.
Right.
and see that not only did I go through it, but I made it. And to look and see where I'm at today.
I can't look on your inside, but I can watch your outside, and your light is shining through for people to be able to see in our community. And Chris, I mean, I didn't know you well before this. I hope we stay connected.
I hope we do as well.
I think what you're doing for our community is fantastic.
Thank you.
And I'm really excited about this new group home. Is that what you call it? Is it a group home?
Yes, it'd be actually the term for it to be a therapeutic group home.
Okay. Well,
Yes.
I'm excited that you're investing your money, your time, your energy to try to bring something to our community that's going to benefit our youth. And just the inspiration you are to others that are out there to know that you don't have to stay where you're at. If you want to move forward, there is a place for you, but there's things you're going to have to do to get to that place.
That's correct.
So, Chris, I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And if there's anything that we can do to help advance what you're trying to do, please know you have a friend out there.
Thank you so much. I mean that. Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to watch or listen to this podcast. We really appreciate your involvement. Please leave us a comment, or even better yet, subscribe to this podcast and hit that notification bell so that you can be alerted for every new episode when it hits.